Welcome to the podcast, Happy and Single. I'm your host, Joseph Anderson. You can find me on Instagram at the It's Possible Guy. And today is episode 118, and it's entitled, You Don't Have to Be Perfect to Go After What You Want. Do you know what happens in life? Every single one of us, we think we have to be in a certain place to get what we really want. You know, in the area of relationships, people will spend all kinds of time getting themselves in shape when they really want a relationship. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, being in shape will definitely give you more opportunities, but you have no idea what that person that you're interested in is into. You might be working like crazy to get yourself in shape, and they might not care. No, I don't know. I have no idea the type of person that you are going after or what you're going after in your life. I mean, you're more than welcome. I have some Ask Me Anything calls that I host a few times a week that you can see on happyandsingle.com. But unless you've actually come and talked to me, I don't really know what's going on in your life. But what I do know is we stop ourselves. We only let ourselves go after things that we think we can go after. We think, oh my goodness, if I tried to go after that, they would never. Oh, if I tried to ask this much money for my service, they would never. Oh, I could never go ask that girl out. You know what's funny? I've had experiences where, one particular night where I met this stunningly gorgeous girl at a country dancing place that we danced, we had a wonderful time, and she was by far the most attractive girl in the entire place. And then I asked another girl, or I'm just guessing in that time, I also asked another girl that probably said no. That's just the way it works, guys. It just works that way. Sometimes we ask and they say yes, and sometimes we ask and they say no. And it's not about you. Truthfully, back to this idea that most of our goals are a means to an end. For example, you don't want to make, however much money you want to make in your life, so you can carry around pieces of paper with dead presidents on them. You want them because of the value that you can get for that money. You might want the house, you might want the car, you might want the person that's attracted to somebody that makes that much money. Like, I don't know what it is for you. But what I will tell you is the more we start going after what we really want instead of what we think we can have, the better we're going to get at getting it. If I want to become a better basketball player, then definitely it's going to help me to practice and shoot and everything else. It doesn't matter how much I spend time studying on becoming a better basketball player until I actually get out in the field and practice and try. Guys, that's the only way we do anything is by trying. There's nothing wrong with taking the time to get yourself in your ideal shape, to get yourself one of the things I've shared with you guys before is just to get yourself in the best shape possible, to make yourself look as attractive as possible in every category of your life, to get yourself right financially, to get yourself emotionally, to get yourself right in every single way that you can imagine. Yeah, because the other thing coming to me is when you are at your best, you have a different energy. When your life is just rolling, you have a different energy. Now, granted, if you also understood and realized that everything that's really happening is just, thoughts go through our head all the time. Some of them are helpful and others of them aren't. And when we understand that thoughts are just like rolling clouds that roll through the sky, if we don't pay much attention to, we do pretty well. I love the story in the Book of Mormon about the tree of life. You can read this in, if you just type in 1 Nephi, Nephi 8, it'll take you straight to the chapter that I'm talking about. But a man named Lehi has this great vision, and he sees this beautiful tree of life, and he starts going towards it, and immediately there's a mist of darkness. An exceedingly great mist of darkness. Well, oftentimes for each of us, whenever we start going after what it is we want, this great mist of darkness shows up. It says, hey, you can't go after that. There's no way in the world that person will say yes if you ask him on a date. Oh, you don't want to do that. That person looks a lot like that person that was rude to you. We have all kinds of things that go through our head that really aren't that helpful. Instead of just going after it anyways, you want to go ask somebody out, ask them out. You want to go say hi to somebody, say hi to somebody. The best way to learn to do anything is by practice. So the more you practice doing something, the better you get. The more time you spend sparring with the adversary and this voice in your head, the more you're not getting good at anything. The adversary just seeks to distract you, seeks to frustrate you, and seeks you to keep from even getting started. That's all it wants. If you're so busy arguing with the voice in your head, now here's one of the ways that I look at it sometimes, and I was thinking about this morning, is plenty of times I feel like, oh no, the voice is telling me not to go the direction I'm going. Trust me, if God ever wants to tell you you're going in the wrong direction, he will show you. And it won't be through just a very casual experience where, you just kind of think about something and it's like, oh yeah, that means I must not supposed to be going down this road. No, not at all. If God wants to tell you something, he will tell you. He doesn't, I like to say, he doesn't have to go through the back door because he's God. And he can tell you to do whatever he wants. But most often we are on the right path. We're just not walking. No, if you had a goal to go to New York City and you just kept walking and didn't stop, would you get to New York City? Yes, you would. As long as you don't stop and as long as some unforeseen circumstance doesn't take you out. But you know who really takes us out of any game we're trying to play? It's us. We are the ones that take ourselves out of any game we're trying to play. Before I even ask somebody, it's like, oh, well, what? Yeah, no, I mean, that person is gorgeous. That person's out of my league. Why in the world would they go out with me? Don't do that. A better question to ask using this example of getting somebody that you want to date is getting super creative and saying, okay, like, what is it about this person that I already know that I could do something that was really creative that they would enjoy and that would make them see me in a better light? No, you might do that thing and they might still not be interested. That's okay too. Like, we do have to understand like attracts like. And at the end of the day, like it's either a good fit or it isn't. There really is something to be said. I mean, and it doesn't even have to do with attractiveness sometimes. I mean, I remember, some particular experiences where I was hanging out with gorgeous girls and I wasn't interested. Why? Because there just wasn't that X factor. There wasn't that spark. There wasn't it. Yes, was the girl stunning? Absolutely. Do I sometimes kick myself and look back and be like, did I make the right choice? Yeah. But in the moment, I know that I made the right choice because it wasn't there. And if it's not there, that's okay. But the only way that you find what you're looking for is by opening doors. I had this experience, and I actually shared this with my mentor, and he helped me see this even deeper. I had this experience where I was at church, and we have different classes for the second hour of the meeting. And so I opened one of the doors and I saw the individual that was teaching and I wasn't feeling it. And I opened another door and saw the other individual that was teaching and I wasn't feeling it. And then I looked through the window of the third door because that one had windows and I saw a person that I actually wanted to listen to. And you know what? I was talking with my mentor and I was talking about, Michael, I feel like I have to do everything perfect. My mentor, his name is Michael Neal. I feel like I have to do everything perfect. I feel like I always want to take the next perfect step. And he did something really interesting. He's like, Joseph, I know this really wise guy that, he went and he was at church and he went and he opened one door and wasn't feeling it. And he opened another door and he wasn't feeling it. And he opened a third door and that was it. And he said, I know no better way to live in life. Guys, open the doors that you want to open. Truthfully, open the doors that you want to open. Go after what you want to go after. Figure out the steps. And then follow the steps. It's like, for me, one of the things I do is the It's Possible Challenge for those of you guys that follow me on social media. And oh my goodness, I've had so much to learn the Top Gun anthem, which I'm learning right now. It was beyond my capacity to play at one time. But now I'm getting better and better and better. Well, one of the skills I learned is you have to memorize it. Well, it's interesting because I heard that, and then I went back to practicing the exact same way I'd been practicing. And you know what? I hit that glass ceiling at about 90% of the speed. Because what you have to do is you have to memorize it, and it has to become a part of you. The more you try things, the more you just do things, the more things become a part of you. I know some of you out there might have your own businesses. And when it comes to business, I think absolutely we want to focus on doing the best that we can and, using our time the best that we can. But that's not how it works. We don't know all the activities that are going to be profitable. We just don't. So what do? We just keep opening doors. We open doors, we open doors, we open doors. That is your only job. What if, when it comes to relationships, first of all, your only job was just to invite? Your only job was just to say, hey, thank you. I'm sorry. I lost my train at that. What if your only job was to go up and just walk up to someone and say, hi, my name is, would you be interested in going out? Or, just even asking them questions about themselves. What if we took all the pressure off of this idea that you have to be in a perfect state to talk to somebody? What if you just went out and did what you wanted to do? And I too, I'll admit it, guys, it's one of those double-edged swords, because I do understand that absolutely we can get creative, we can have fun. I mean, we can, figure out things that are going to get people excited about, hearing from us. I mean, I remember this one story, and I've told it before, but there was a girl that I asked her, why did she marry her husband? And she told me because he just kept taking her on really, really cool activities, and eventually she married him. He'd take her to Six Flags and Disneyland and all kinds of places, and she eventually married him. Well, guys, you can get creative and you can have fun. And even just smiling and just being happy and enjoying where you're at in life, because it's where you're at. You don't have a choice. I mean, you can't generally change your life in a second. I mean, who knows? Maybe you can change it overnight, but maybe in the next minute you can't. But you can decide to enjoy your life where you're at. You can learn to love your life where you're at and be truly grateful and excited. I mean, there is so much around you that you have the opportunity to be grateful for. It's interesting. I'm thinking back to an individual that I knew quite some time ago. And she was attractive, don't get me wrong, but she definitely wasn't the most stunning. But she had a personality and characteristics about her, and she was funny and she was witty and she had all these amazing features. She knew who she was. And she didn't worry about all the things that she wasn't. Now, she was in shape, I will say that. And she had all kinds of guys beating down her door and passing more attractive girls to do it. Sometimes we rest on our laurels. Whatever it is that we've been good at, instead of growing and expanding, we rest. You say, well, I'm actually doing really, really good. Now, there's a balance between allowing yourself to be content with where you're at in your life and continuing to expand. There's a phrase that I love that says, reach the fullness of the measure of our creation. Every one of us are playing well below our potential, our ability. Now, notice I said we, myself included. We don't have to be perfect, but we do want to be striving. We do want to be striving for the best that we can accomplish and achieve in our lives. I mean, what is it that you guys want to achieve and accomplish in your lives? What is the big thing that if you weren't scared, you would go after it? Who's a person that you really, really want to be with? Or that you really would love to even ask on a date? And I will say also, like, if they say no, it's okay. You don't have to, you don't have to do anything crazy. It doesn't mean anything about you. It just means that they're not interested, and that's okay. But that doesn't have to stop you from going after even a person similar to that. If you know that that's what you like, then go after that. Now, there are certain ways of saying, okay, well, this person's in incredibly great shape, and I've noticed that they pay attention to people that are also in great shape. Then it might tell you, hey, that person, that's important to that person. So we learn as we go. But the thing we don't want to do is we don't want to stop. It's like there's a song called Can't Stop, Won't Stop, or it's a lyric or something. It's great advice. Don't stop when you feel discouraged. All discouragement is rolling clouds that are going through your head that have to do with the moment. Whatever you're feeling in that moment. But don't pay attention to it. Go forward anyways. Yeah, you're going to feel a little bit anxious. You might feel a little bit scared about what's going to happen. But go forward anyways. Why do we have this idea that we have to be perfect in order to attract somebody that's awesome in our lives? We don't. I mean, don't we really just want to be our best selves? Because truth be told, let's say, for example, that you do spend all your waking time and energy to become somebody that a person that you like would like. Let's say even that you even marry them. There's a scripture that says, what profiteth a man if he loses his entire soul? What does it matter if you change everything that you are to attract somebody that you think that you want because they're attractive? Like I said, what if you even marry them, and what if it's just not there? I really do believe that people are drawn together. I believe that God is the ultimate matchmaker. I mean, the times in my life that I've been brought together with somebody that was a really great option, it was not my doing. It was the Lord's doing. I know that. I really do believe that. Granted, at the same time, the better off I get into, I make myself attractive in all areas of my life, the better person I'm going to attract. So, bottom line, go after what you want. If you want to go on a date with somebody, ask. The worst they can do is say no. No means nothing about you. You could be incredible and amazing, and they might just be unavailable at the time. There's different ways of being unavailable. One is actually being in a relationship. One is, having deep feelings for somebody that you're just not ready to go forward. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. It's not about you. It's about somebody else. It's about the person that you're talking to. And you get a choice whether you want to ask, and they get a choice whether they want to say yes or no. I would just invite you to use each of those experiences as a learning experience. Okay, well, I asked this person this way. I asked him 10,000 times, and they kept saying no, 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 and I wasted a lot of time. Okay, well, what do you want to do in the future? Well, I asked him to this thing, and they said no. Okay, what do I want to do in the future? Well, I might want to find out what they're into. If they happen to be lactose intolerant, I might not want to take them to ice cream. The other thing I'll say is a lot of times we feel that because of our past or because we've made choices along the way that haven't been the best, that a lot of our opportunities are closed off in the future. There's a great quote that says, "Your future is as bright as your faith." That's by a former religious leader of mine named Thomas S. Monson. If you and it also says in the scriptures, faith without works is dead. Faith is hoping for things which you can't see. It's hoping and expecting that things will work out, even when sometimes it looks like they're not going to. What if you started having more faith and hope in your life? That your life really could turn out the way you wanted it to? What if you started dreaming again? What if you started remembering the same dreams you had as a child, or dreaming with that type of quality? Would you settle for a lot of things you're settling for now? Would you continue to take the steps moving towards what you want? Winston Churchill said enthusiasm is just going from failure to failure, or success is just going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. That's all it is, guys. Every single person around you has also had their challenges, has also had their hardships. They just keep going forward anyways. I mean, isn't that what we love about sports or any good book? It's like when we think the character, the team is absolutely at a loss, they come back. They find some will, they find some power. So, once again, start opening doors. Open the doors to the things that you desire, the things that you want. If you want to go after a certain job, if you want to go after certain clients, go after it. Get creative. When we don't have so much thinking in our head about, am I perfect enough to go after what I want? We just go after what we want. My little 5-year-old nephew doesn't say, "Oh, Joseph, if only I was a better person, I could go out and have fun. If only I hadn't made so many bad choices in the first 4 years of my life, I could go out and have fun." He just goes and has fun. Again, as it says in the Book of Mormon in 2 Nephi 2:25, we are meant to have joy. You were meant to have joy. It also says it plenty of times in the other scriptures, be of good cheer. Be happy. Yes, you're going to have hardships. Yes, people are going to say no to you, and some people might even be mean. Oh well. What is it that you want? What is it that you want right now, more than anything in the world? And what's your next step to go get that? Focus on the tiny steps. By small and simple things are great things brought to pass. Focus on those tiny and simple steps. That's another scripture from the Book of Mormon and Alma. But go forward with faith. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. As Thoreau says, if you will go confidently in the direction of your dreams, you'll meet with success. And not just a little bit of success, but lots of success. I would invite you, whatever you've been inspired, whatever the Spirit has said to you today, to say, hey, go do this. You want to do this. Go do it. To go do it. Now, if you've made it to this point in the podcast, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. I don't know how you got here, but that way, if you ever want to get back here again, it's right there for you in your subscriptions. And if you haven't already joined us, one of the really cool things that I do that's free for anyone that would like to participate is each Monday morning at 10 a.m. Arizona time, I host a group coaching call for Happy and Single. Anyone is welcome to come on, and you can even receive a little bit of one-on-one coaching time with me, depending on how many people are in the call. Now, every now and then that schedule changes, so you can go to the website happynsingle.com to be able to look at the schedule and also to be able to find the link to the Zoom room. Now, at the same time, if you would prefer a more one-on-one type of coaching experience where you can sit down and share your hopes and dreams and just kind of the stuff going on in your world, then there's another option available for you as well. Now, the bulk of my business is actually doing one-on-one coaching. If that's something you're interested in exploring, I've got a few spots open in my coaching practice. You can just message me on Instagram at the It's Possible Guy, and we can sit down and have a chat. And it doesn't matter where you're at in the world. I've worked with people across the world. I do everything over Zoom, so it actually makes it pretty easy. Thank you guys so much again for listening. And go out and live your adventure. Thank you.